Hello, world, and welcome to the Cartridge Club, your one-stop shop for monthly gaming goodness. I'm your host, Curtiss Frisle, and this month we played Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest for the Super Nintendo. Now, before we jump into the game, I would like to introduce you to my duo of distinguished guests. I'm going to call them my Quest guests this month. See what I did there? So let's meet them. First up, we have Captain Algebra, who I am naming the Diddy of this podcast. So welcome, Captain Algebra.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. Excited to talk about this.
Absolutely. You're a big DK fan, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country is one of my favorite series of all time.
Oh, awesome. This will be good. And then, of course, if you're Diddy, we have our Dixie right over here.
Oh, come on.
And that is Duke from Retro Nonsense. Welcome, Duke.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So obviously that would make me Donkey Kong. However, unlike the game, I will be here the whole time. So, you guys ready to dive into Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest? Say that 5 times fast.
Let's do it.
Yes.
The beast is back. On the system that keeps pounding out the hits. Super NES. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. It's even tougher than the original.
They've come a long way advertising video games, haven't they?
I don't know. That might have been the peak of advertising for video games.
It was good. I loved 90s commercials, like the whip pans and like the zooms and everything. You know, everything was extreme. It doesn't get much better. I like that too. So did we're talking about Donkey Kong Country 2. Did you guys play this or when it originally came out?
I did not.
You did not, really?
No.
Captain Algebra?
I did. Yep. I don't know if we got it on release day, but I know we got it pretty soon after if we didn't.
Yeah. Duke, when did you first play it then?
A couple weeks ago.
You're kidding. Really? You've never played it before?
No, I played the original back in the day. I had that as a teenager for my Super Nintendo, and I really enjoyed that. But for some reason, I never got the sequel. Was it a later release? I'm not even sure. I don't know why I didn't have it, but
came out in 95. So I mean, it was a later release technically for the Super Nintendo, I guess.
Well, what I mean is, was the N64 out already?
N64 would have come out the next year. It came out in 96.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure why I didn't have it, but I never played it until I've had it for a little while in my collection here. I just never got around to playing it. So it was a great opportunity to say, hey, it's the club game of the month. Let's check it out finally. I think I put it in and tinkered around with it when I first bought it a couple years ago, but I never played through it. So this was my first time.
That's crazy. I'm so excited. I didn't know this was your first time playing it. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I love when we have a perspective on the show that's someone who's never played it before. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. You're going to fill that role. And Captain Algebra, you played it back in the day, and you have fond memories with it. I take it.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's my favorite game on the Super Nintendo. I've probably played it almost every year since it was released. I play it all the time.
It's your number one?
Number one. Love it.
Wow.
You have a super fan here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Well, we got number one, first time playing it. Me, funny enough. So a little sidebar story here. I remember this must have been 94, 95. For my birthday, I got the original Donkey Kong game. Got it for Super Nintendo. Loved it. I was like so in love with Donkey Kong. And I remember when the sequel came out, I think I rented it. And I was angry that Donkey Kong wasn't in the game. Like that, I was like, "What? You don't play as Donkey Kong?" And I don't remember. I played through a little bit of it, but I was actually like mad about it, and I didn't even try to beat it or anything. Took it back to the rental store, and I was kind of like, "Screw that game! Like you don't get to play as Donkey Kong." And then I didn't even play the third one when it originally came out because I was like, you don't get to play as Donkey Kong again. What's up with all these Donkey Kong games? You don't even get to play as Donkey Kong. Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, years later, I was like, what am I talking about? I'm stupid. And I have since, forgiven it. And we'll get into later where we think it stacks up against the other Donkey Kong games. But for now, let's focus on Donkey Kong Country 2. So a little backstory on the game. Came out in the U.S. on November 20th, 1995. Of course, it's the sequel to Donkey Kong Country. And fun fact, it's the 6th best-selling game on the Super Nintendo of all time, which I thought was pretty fun. That's according to Mario Wiki, so I hope they're right, Mario Wiki. But I also saw that the original Donkey Kong was the 3rd best-selling game on the Super Nintendo. So the DKs were pretty high. I don't know where Donkey Kong Country 3 lands, but I'm sure it's probably in the top 20. So yeah, this is a big deal when it comes to the Super Nintendo. So it's about time that the Cartridge Club finally got to it. I know they played somewhere way back in the day the original Donkey Kong, but yeah. So first memories of the game, we just talked about that. Did you like it when you played it? We've covered all that. Let's talk about the game. I love this. So Super Nintendo games are weird sometimes in that it was still in that era of video games where sometimes you got the story not from the game, but from like the manual.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Donkey Kong Country 2 is no exception to this. Even though they could obviously do some sort of story, they put it in the manual. I think the only thing you really get story-wise setting up the game is in the first level. If you go back into the ship, King K. Rool leaves a note that's like, I captured Donkey Kong. Mm-hmm. Me hearties, or whatever he says in his like pirate lingo. But that's it. So if you wanted the story, I hope you have the manual like I got right there. This is what the page looks like in the manual. It's a little hard to read, but you can see there's a lot of story there. And I'm going to read this for you. So welcome to Cartridge Club Theater, setting up Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. Donkey Kong gulped down the last of his banana milkshake and sighed happily, his old beach chair creaking as he wriggled his toes in the sand. This is the life, he thought to himself. Donkey Kong settled back and closed his eyes, thinking he'd have a little doze, when he heard the sound of shuffling feet. Before he knew what was happening, Cranky Kong bopped him on the head with his cane. Well, well, said Cranky, what do you think you're doing sitting around all day? They won't get much of a game out of this, will they? I thought you were supposed to be a big star. Why don't you go off and pester Diddy or something, complained Donkey Kong. Ha! He's off somewhere with that girlfriend of his. Grumbling to himself, Cranky shambled off down the beach, leaving Donkey Kong to pull his hat over his eyes, sink down into the beach chair, and slowly drift asleep. When night fell, and their big buddy still hadn't returned, Diddy and Dixie Kong worried and went to look for him. As they reached the beach, they saw hundreds of strange-looking footprints that led from the sea to form a big circle around the spot where Donkey Kong's chair lay. Kremlings! Diddy gasped in horror. On top of the bits of chair, they found a note. To the yellow-bellied, land-loving Kong family. Ha-ha! We got the big monkey. If you want him back, you scurvy dogs, you'll have to hand over the banana horde. Captain K. Rool signed. Well, grunted Cranky, I suppose we'd better give him the bananas, hadn't we? Diddy was shocked. After all we did to get back the last time, Donkey Kong would go crazy if he lost his bananas again. Got any better ideas, you young whippersnapper? Demanded the old ape. We gotta rescue him, of course, said Diddy and Dixie together. But Cranky just laughed. Oh, really? And who exactly is we, Well, what about me? Asked Diddy, stamping his foot. I went with Donkey Kong on his last adventure. Why can't I do it? You? Laughed Cranky. You've been only in one game, and you didn't even get your name in the title. You think that makes you a hero? Diddy looked discouraged, but Dixie was quick to stand up for him. I'm going with him. Diddy stared at her, and she stared defiantly back. But it's dangerous, he protested. You're not scared, are you? Of course I'm not. Well, neither am I. Don't try to argue. If you're going, I'm going with you. Diddy sighed. He knew a hopeless argument when he saw one, but still, he was Donkey's only hope. Of course, if he managed to rescue his big buddy, he'd become a real video game hero too. Could he ask for a better chance to prove himself? Diddy stood up straight and proud, ready for his new quest. I'll bring him back, you'll see, he declared. The others offered encouragement. Wrinkly gave him a warm smile, while Funky offered his hand for a high five. Go for it, little dude! And as soon as the sun rose again, the brave young pair set out.
Bravo.
Great job. Love the voices.
That was great.
Thank you very much. So that sets up the story. We are in charge of Diddy and Dixie Kong in the game. Obviously, this time you're not playing as Donkey Kong. You're playing as Dixie and Diddy. And I want to talk about them really quick before we get into the game. So in the first game, Donkey Kong Country, it was very obvious the differences between Diddy and Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was a little bit slow and lumbering, but more powerful. He could hop on the big bad guys, where Diddy was a little bit quicker, make bigger jumps, but couldn't hop on the big guys. This time, you got two kind of quick characters, and the differences are more minor this time, but Diddy's definitely faster, can jump higher. But Dixie, she's slightly slower, but she can glide in the air with her hair, right? Which I think, let me ask you guys, do you think that lends itself to why Donkey Kong 2 is Country 2 is often like the preferred game of the three? Captain Algebra, why don't you weigh in?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that glide is so helpful in so many situations, whether you're jumping off the edge to like go see if there's a bonus barrel over to the side, or, you know, you're in one of those shaft levels and you want to lower yourself slowly in case there's something hidden, or you don't want to fall on an enemy. I mean, it's such a cool gameplay mechanic. And I think she makes the fact that you lost Donkey Kong not hurt as much, because she's such a great character.
Yeah. Duke, did you find yourself leaning towards between Diddy and Dixie towards one character or the other when you were playing?
I did. Dixie, I would say, was my default character, but at the same time, I think it was a great gameplay element that you would often switch back between the two, even within one level.
Mm-hmm.
One to, you know, if you as you started getting familiar with what you needed to do, as you memorized the levels and retried them, it became clear that sometimes you needed to use Dixie and sometimes you needed to use Diddy. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the games. But my default was, like, when I started the level, if I had both, Dixie's in front. And if I saw that it was more beneficial to have Diddy, I would then switch, and then sometimes switch back. But if I didn't know what was ahead, I always kind of had Dixie in front.
Interesting. Why is that?
It was safer to me because I knew that I could use her glide as like a kind of a safety feature. I could, if I made a jump that was bad, I could kind of go back. And I think her move, her floaty move, was a little more, I think, used than Diddy's cartwheel for me.
Yeah.
So.
Captain Algebra, where do you land on this? Did you have a preferred?
I mean, I prefer Dixie in most cases. Like Duke said, you know, it's that safety net almost. If you mess something up, she can usually correct it. But I've played it so many times that whoever I'm playing with at that time is who I play with. I know I do like to climb with Diddy because he climbs faster than Dixie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in one of the boss levels later on, you know, you're doing a lot of climbing while eggs are coming at you. And so it makes sense. I'd rather use Diddy in that case. But there's also, with certain boss fights, I'd rather have Diddy because he carries the barrels in front of him. So then enemies can just run right into him, instead of with Dixie has it in her hair behind her. Then you have to kind of time it right and throw it at her, throw it at the enemy at the right time. Whereas Diddy, you know, you don't have to worry about that as much. So I like Dixie more, but I've played it so much, it doesn't really matter to me who I play with.
It's funny you mentioned the barrel thing too, because yes, I agree. Like whenever it came to barrel stuff, Diddy was so much better because Dixie even had a few more like frames of animation to like pick it up and get it into her hair, so it felt slower, you know. Yes. I personally I prefer Diddy, actually. Like I would start out with Diddy more times, and I did like the cartwheel jump because you can go so far with the cartwheel jump if you know how to use it correctly, you know, like just fall off a ledge, and man, it's almost like having a double jump, you know.
You know, It's funny you say that. I did not even know about that that how you can go down and then jump
Yeah.
again. I didn't even
Yeah.
know about that until like way later in the game,
Mm-hmm.
because I saw some like coins and I'm like, how do you even get that? That's impossible, because if Diddy or Dixie floats down, you can't recover.
Right.
And then I think I did it accidentally. I was like, oh, you can like fall a little bit, and then as he does his cartwheel, and then jump again. I didn't even know that. Of course, I don't have the manual like you, so I didn't read through the manual. So I probably would have known that if I would have took the time to read the manual. But I discovered that later. So.
Well, we asked you out there in Cartridge Club world what you thought, and the results were pretty interesting, to say the least. Let's take a look. So which Kong did you prefer playing as? And it was pretty close. 54.8% said Diddy Kong to 45.2% said Dixie Kong. So it's I'd say that's almost half and half,
Yeah,
pretty close.
And I think if there was one thing, that separated the two, it's got to be the speed still, because Dixie's a little bit slower.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the game itself. Before we do, got another little treat for you. Let me cue that up here.
Super Donkey Kong の第2弾いよいよ登場。期待をはるかに上回る多彩なステージ。ますます広がるドンキーコングワールド。スーパードンキーコング2。スーパーファミコンが4000円安くなるクーポン券付き。
I love how they spent like 15 seconds of that commercial with like shimmying Kremlin.
Yeah.
Doing that like tribal chant or whatever. It's funny. I literally spent like a couple hours scouring the internet for any Donkey Kong Country 2 commercials or promos, anything I could find. So it's always fun when you stumble across. I'd never seen the Japanese ones before.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
Okay, let's talk about the game. So Donkey Kong gets kidnapped, brought to the first game. You're like on Donkey Kong's home turf, right? That's like the island they live on. But the second game, now you're on King K. Rool's or Captain K. Rool's turf, right? And the game has a very strong pirate theme. I guess let's talk about that, because the first world is Gangplank Galleon, which is a pirate shipped theme. And what do you guys think about the overall tone of the game? I personally felt it to be darker. Not only in like the actual colors of the game are, I feel darker, not as bright as the first game, and also the theme of like DK's captured. You're on the bad guy's turf.
Yeah, I agree. I did notice that myself. A lot of the levels aren't as pretty. Like for example, the lava levels are very dark. And I like the worlds that are outside with the bright backgrounds, and the pirate ship ones are really fun. I'm a sucker for water and ice worlds, so those are very visually pleasing. But yeah, there were some kind of mucky ones, like the swampy ones, and there were dark greens.
A lot of swamp levels.
Yeah,
there's like almost like two whole swampy type worlds.
So I do agree that was noticeable, and I definitely preferred playing the more brighter levels, just visually. They just were kind of muted and had a darker tone, like you said.
Yeah, I'd agree with the darker tone. I do like how you start on the ship. It's the ship that sunk in the first game. So that's super cool. Yeah. But while the levels are a little more muted and darker, there's so much more detail to them than in the original Donkey Kong Country game. Like if you go, like Donkey Kong Country has a lot of like cave levels, and there's not a whole lot to those backgrounds. Even the minecart levels, not a lot to the background. Whereas here, you're in the minecart and you see the crazy Kremland in the background. You've got all the lights from the different rides and stuff. And just even the swimming levels, in the original game, you're just kind of like swimming through reefs and stuff. But then in this one, you're swimming through ships and there's all sorts of different stuff in the background. There's crates all over the place. So it was a little bit darker and more muted. I just like that extra detail.
Yeah,
so
between the two games, they certainly upped the production value. I mean, that is certainly one of the highlights of this game, is that there is just detail after detail. You can tell they really poured a lot of their heart into this game. So that really shines, even in the dark levels, that shines through. So I agree.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you start at level 1, Pirate Panic, basic ship level. It does introduce the returning Rambi the Rhino from Donkey Kong Country. So we got our animal friends back, of which there are some returning ones, some new ones, and we'll get to those as they come up. Donkey Kong Country, the series has always been a big collect-a-thon type game. You got the bananas, you got the Kong letters, balloons, all the little secrets and whatnot, and we'll get into completing the game and doing the full shebang and everything. But let's just start with the Kong letters. I always find this interesting because the Kong letters, if you collect, there's 4 Kong letters, Kong, in each level, and if you collect them all, you get a 1-up, essentially, an extra life. However, you don't have to collect those, and they don't add to the final percentage. So I'm curious, did you guys bother to collect Kong letters, or was that even intriguing to you? Did you care, Algebra?
I mean, I collect them if I see them and stuff, but I don't go out of my way to find every single one of them. I know a lot has been said about this game being pretty difficult. I know in that first trailer you showed, like, it was tougher than the first game, which I think I would agree with. But since I've played it since I was a kid, I don't really find it that tough. So it's like I don't need those extra lives. But for someone who thinks the game is tough and really needs it, I mean, it's a nice way to get an extra life every level. Yeah.
Duke, did you go after the Kong?
Well, my style of gameplay is I breeze through and beat it. That's my number one goal. And then I go back, and I didn't know we were, I had like one day to go back because that was like today before the record. And I've been playing quite a bit this afternoon. But that's typically what I would do with a game like this, is I would beat it first and get that out of the way, and then kind of like relax and have fun with the levels and try to find the extra secrets. So no, I wasn't worried about collecting them during my regular game playthrough when I was trying to beat the game. But I did think it was enjoyable to go back afterwards, because that kind of forced you to go into different areas and look for them. And I thought it contributed to the percentage. I didn't realize it didn't. So that's kind of what in my mind I was doing, was trying to get the game, up to 100% or 102, whatever it is, as part of what I was going to go back to do to try to have more fun with the playthrough.
Yeah.
So
the thing I did like, okay, I got one thing I don't like, one thing I did like about the Kong thing is, so when you save a game in Donkey Kong, and some games do this and it drives me nuts. When you save your game, you come back to it. You don't, if you had 100 lives, doesn't matter. Like, you go back to 5, and that's really frustrating, especially when you come back later in the game, because the levels are a lot harder, and so you're going to be dying a lot more. And I did find, when I would come back in later, when I was playing through, for those later levels, I would go after the Kong letters just to try and give me any extra boost, because I don't want to get a game over. And even though game over is like not the worst thing in the world, I don't want to start the level over again.
Just curious, did you guys both play it on the original Super Nintendo this time, or did you?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I did too. I was thinking of that, because as I was playing it and getting a little frustrated with some of those features or lack thereof as far as saving, I thought, because I'm a stickler for not taking advantage of like save points and stuff, I thought this might be one of the times if I was playing it on the Switch, I might use that, because not being able to save as much really drew out the experience, and time is always of the essence. So I may have taken advantage of that if I didn't play it on my Super Nintendo.
So I've already mentioned I love this game. I actually played through the Game Boy Advance version as well this month, because I wanted to see if there were differences. Yep. And that one you can actually save at any point in time. Wrinkly Kong doesn't serve as a save place anymore. It's something different. But yeah, so you can save at any point, and it does save your lives.
While we're talking about coins, though, there's coins galore in this. This was a big step up over the first Donkey Kong Country in terms of collect-a-thoning. And a big part is the different coins you got. So you got your banana coins, which is what allows you to save, allows you to play Swanky Kong's games and rent the plane and stuff. But then you have the creme coins, which are hidden in the bonus stages. And those you pay this guy named Clubba at Clubba's kiosk, which allow you to unlock hidden levels in the game that you are required to play if you want to go for the full 102%. And then there is in each level, well, most of the levels except boss levels, there is Cranky's video game hero coin, which is the large DK coin. There's one per level, and you got to collect all those. All it is like a bragging rights thing, but it also adds to if you want the full 102%, collecting all these coins. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys noticed this. So when you go to Cranky's video game hero, like when it shows the top three, you know, Mario's number 1, Yoshi's number 2, Link's number 3. If you notice down in like the bottom right corner, there's like the no hopers, right? So the people that got no hope of placing, and there you'll notice Sonic's shoes and Earthworm Jim's blaster down there. So
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever noticed that.
yeah,
That's
they couldn't keep up. So yeah, lots to collect in this game. Lots to collect. But back to the game. Level 2, Main Brace Mayhem, vertical level. Got a lot of these going up the ship's mast. Level 3, we got Gangplank Galley. It's another ship level. Level 4, Lockjaw's Locker, is our first swimming level, and that introduces Ungard, the swordfish, returning from the original Donkey Kong Country. Level 5, Top Sail Trouble. This is another vertical level, and this introduces Rattly the Snake, which is new to Donkey Kong Country 2 and very important to a few levels down the road. So,
Yeah.
you know, anybody playing this game, get good at controlling Rattly. Because it's interesting. I don't remember if Donkey Kong Country, the first one, did this, but there are some levels where you ride the animals and others where you become the animal in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the first game, you could only ride them. You could never turn into the animal.
Right. Yeah, so I thought that was a new feature. And then the boss of the first world is the Crow's Nest, which is a large crow that releases eggs, which is messed up, by the way, when you think about it. Like it's this, like that's like it's babies. Like the boss is essentially throwing babies at you as its attack.
It's hardcore.
And then you throw the babies back at it to damage it, to defeat it. That's like,
who said Sega Genesis was the edgy one? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're throwing babies over here at Super Nintendo as weapons.
That's super messed up. In addition to all the collecting you can do in this game, you got a ton of different Kongs versus the first game, which I think you only had Cranky and Funky in addition to Diddy and Donkey.
You had Candy in the first one.
Candy.
That's how you saved.
Candy, who went bye-bye in this one. She was too edgy. You know, they were like, get out with the edgy, you know, cleavage showing Kong, bring in the baby throwing bird. But so this one, we got Cranky back, and they give him more to do. Like in the first game, Cranky just gave you like tips. You know, there wasn't much more to him. Candy, you know, he'd save. Funky would do the plane thing. In this one, Cranky hosts the Monkey Museum, which he does offer hints for a fee, which, thinking about, kind of messed up also that all of these like family members charge you for like your help. Like your help saving Donkey Kong. They're making you pay for this. What's up with that? But yeah, so you get hints from Cranky Kong. Fun fact, there is a Killer Instinct arcade cabinet in the back of his museum, if you notice that. Fun thing.
Did not notice that.
Which, of course, is another game made by Rare. We had talked about Funky Kong, which he allows the travel between the worlds. So it's after you buy it once, you get it forever. Is that how it works?
For each world you're in, yeah. So like, when you're in the first area, you pay Funky Kong. It's the 2 coins. Then anytime you're in that world and you use them, it's going to be free. But as soon as you go to the next one, like Crocodile Cauldron, you got to pay him again. Right.
And then you got Wrinkly, who's new to this game, wife of Cranky. Love that. I love that. You know, he's got Cranky's supposed to be like the original Donkey Kong, right? And he got married to Cranky. She runs Kong College, which she also will provide you tips for a fee and allow you to save your game. And then my personal favorite was Swanky Kong, which is he runs Swanky's Bonus Bonanza, which you pay to play like a trivia game about this, and you can win free lives. Did you guys do all these?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every time.
Nope.
I specifically was saving those banana coins for my saves, so I was afraid to waste them on anything else. So I think I tried it a couple times. I did the bonus thing like once or twice. It was like a trivia, and I got a couple of them right, a couple of them wrong, and then I think I used the airplane thing just once just to see what it did. But I primarily just used the save feature with Wrinkly. So that's the only one I ever spent my banana coins on.
Yeah. I loved the Swanky, but I'm a huge trivia buff. So like anything trivia, I'm in. Count me in. So I did all those. I'm curious. I forget. Does this? You have to do all those to get the full 102%? I don't remember.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I've just always done them, so I don't know if it. I know for part of the 102%, you have to visit every single Kong at least once, but I don't know if you actually have to complete every single trivia.
I bought every tip. I did every piece of trivia. Anything that you could spend money on, I did every single one. But the fun thing about it is once you beat the Swanky things, they're done. Like you can't do them again, which is interesting.
Well, I will say I was being very conservative with my coins, but I was planning on going back with my second playthrough in my relax phase to try those out. As I got better with the gaming, was able to get more coins and was more exploratory in my play. But the initial playthrough, no, I didn't want to waste time or coins on that stuff. So
see, I would always, and I'm wondering if you guys did this too, when it comes to the banana coins, I would find a level in like each world where like right at the beginning of the level, it was very easy to get coins, and I would just go farm them. And like, because once you beat a level, you can press start select to get out of it. So I would just go get a coin, go back in, get a coin, go back in, get a coin over and over again. Did you guys do that?
I mean, I have in the past, not for this playthrough though.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could hit start and select and go back. I didn't know that. But
makes it a lot easier.
I did realize that early on that when you collected those coins and if you died, you kept them and you would get them again. So if you played through that level multiple times, you kept on collecting those coins. So I did notice that, and I did use that to my advantage a few times, but not as a means of farming. No.
Well, here you go, Duke. If you've beaten a level, you can go back into it, pause it, hit select, leave the level at any time. So if you just go in and get the coin, and it's good for like when you're going back through and collecting DK coins or Creme coins or whatever, you can just, once you hit it, you don't have to finish the level. You can go right back out.
Which
that's
I
a game
absolutely
changer,
love.
Yeah. That's a game changer there, especially for your second playthrough. That's fantastic.
I always hated games like that are collectathons where you actually have to finish the level again if you miss something. This is so nice. As soon as you grab it, you can get out of there.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that.
Well, that's what this podcast is for. But,
the manual.
Gotta read the manual.
And I was big on that when I was growing up. I always read the manual before I even put the game in. But in my current collection here, I don't have every manual. I could have jumped online and read through it, I guess, but I just didn't.
In fact, I'll do you one better, Duke. I can't believe I don't have it here. Give me 1 second.
Are you looking for the strategy guide, Curtis?
Oh, you got it. Nice.
I do. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not my original one. That one got lost, or my mom threw it away. I don't know, but I grabbed this at a convention last year.
I was talking about the strategy. Yeah, strategy guide, buddies.
Got it.
This thing, by the way,
I feel left out.
So this is the official Nintendo Power strategy guide. This thing is awesome. It gives you detailed maps of every level, shows you where all the barrels, all the Kong coins, anything, bonus areas, it's so cool. And I absolutely use this going through. I was like, why not? When am I going to get another chance? Instead of looking it up online, going to Game Facts or whatever, got it right here.
So let me ask you guys this. are you guys? Do you guys do that like for your first playthrough? Would you use a guide to try to beat the game?
Just for
No.
like the collecting stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like I was telling Duke when you were gone, Curtis, like I've had this since I was a kid. This isn't my original copy that got thrown away, I think. But I didn't have it when I first played the game. So I was able to beat the game, and then I got the strategy guide, and then I went back and 102%ed it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all I've ever used it for.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, games like this you almost need. I mean, it'd be impossible. Well, not impossible, but unlikely to find every single thing without some guide.
Absolutely, because some of those things are really like they do as best they can to kind of guide you in the right direction with hints like a weird banana out of place or whatever. But there are some things that I'm like, how did anyone ever figure this out? Yeah. And if you've ever played the first Donkey Kong Country game and tried to do like the 100%ing on that, it's harder. It's
way worse. Yeah.
There is one bonus world in that game that is hidden in a bonus world. Like what? Mine.
Well, I mean, we all know that was probably on purpose. They wanted to sell these guides, and that was probably part of the strategy of how they designed the game.
Of course, yeah,
for sure. So it's you wouldn't feel guilt because I'm real funny about like cheating and looking things up. Like I would never do that. But I would with a game like this to try to complete it 100% for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's what you had before the internet back in the day.
Exactly, right.
And I honestly think it's better because it's right there. I was just going level by level and like, what was I missing? Oh, I also wanted to point out. So I love that they do this. It's a neat little touch. But when you would get a DK coin in a level, it would show you in the level on the map screen, show a DK coin to know, hey, you got the DK coin in this level. Don't worry about it. And if you got all the Creme coins or you found all the bonus areas, it would have an exclamation point at the end of the level name. So that was a good marker to let you know what you needed to go back to, what you needed to do still. I love that. Love that.
That's one thing this series has always done a nice job of, because even back in the original Donkey Kong Country, if you got all the bonus areas, it put another exclamation point there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, really smart. Good little minor thing that helped a lot. So World 2, we're talking about Crocodile Cauldron. So these are lava, volcano, mine themed levels. And again, if anything jumps out at you about that memories of these levels, let me know. First level is Hothead Hop, which introduces Squitter the spider, which is new to this game, which was kind of fun. I loved making the little like web platforms that you could jump on in addition to having the web projectile.
I did have a question about Squitter. So to make the platforms, did you use the A button or the shoulder buttons?
A button. I
didn't even think about the shoulder buttons.
Yeah, so I've always used the A button, but my buddy Waves in Games, who also loves the Donkey Kong Country series, he's always used the shoulder button. So I was streaming it one time, and he's like, "What are you using?" I'm like, "There's another button you can use." And sure enough, shoulder buttons work.
Really?
Are we free to discuss the spider? Because I know we're going to talk about the buddies, I guess, separately. But
let's talk about them. Yeah.
I don't like him. He's my least favorite.
You don't like the buddies?
No.
Oh,
no. I don't like Squitter. Yeah.
Really? Well,
I mean, it's cool, but I think I found him the most difficult because, especially when it's frustrating because you're jumping from the webs and you got 3 different buttons you're pressing. You're jumping, you're shooting, and you're doing the web platforms all at the same time. So in those areas where you got the crows coming down and you're shooting and jumping and platforming all at the same time, I had a difficult time with that. So that game mechanic, although it was unique and interesting, and plus the webs would disappear sometimes, like unusually, like if you had more than 3, I think, or something, the one would disappear. So that was just one of the more frustrating buddies, I think, in my opinion. So I didn't really enjoy those levels where you're making those platforms and jumping across. Just wasn't.
Well, let me ask you, who was your favorite buddy?
My favorite is Squawks, because I love flying mechanics. I love the hitting the button to fly and timing your shooting and everything. I just really enjoy that game mechanic. So he was my favorite, and I'd say my second would be the Ungard, the swordfish, because I love water levels. So
We are the exact opposite, Duke. Squawks is my least favorite. I think
really,
Twitter was my favorite, followed by probably Rambi. And then I hate On Guard just because I don't like the water levels in this game, and he's hard to control, and the stupid piranhas and blah blah blah. Captain Algebra, where are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Squitter. That I agree with Duke, probably my least favorite, and I think he hit the nail on the head because normally, the Squitter levels, you're making those platforms across bottomless pits that if you fall into, you die, and there can only be 2 platforms out at once, otherwise they start to disappear. And yeah, it's very like anxiety inducing.
Yeah,
like it's stressful having to shoot and make the platforms and stuff. I agree with Duke.
I didn't get that at all.
My favorite is Radley. I just love how how high you can jump and stuff. You can jump on all the enemies like bees and everything. And even if you hop off of an edge, you can still jump even when you're in midair. I always thought that was pretty cool. Part of that also might be is Winky the frog is my favorite in the first game, and Radley basically takes his place, which I'm a little sad about because I love Winky, but I do like Radley.
Yeah. It's funny. Well, I don't have a visual to show you guys because it was more of a question just posed to the Cartridge Club, but we did ask what your favorite animal buddy was in this game, and Squitter won.
I know. I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Over Squawks. No.
Squawks, dude, get out of here. What are you doing on this podcast?
Squawks, if I'm not mistaken, it's the only one that you fight a boss with, right? You fight the bee, the Buzz, whatever.
King Zing.
King Zing. Yeah, and I love that boss fight. It's one of my favorite boss fights because you're flying around in circles and you're trying to hit his tail and you go up and down. I like also with Squawks, you have a lot of control. Even though you're hitting that flutter, the wing, you can also use the D-pad and make him go faster up and down and left and right. I just love all that control you have of him in the air. Love him.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Agreed to disagree. Okay, so back to Crocodile Cauldron. Level 2, we got Cannon's Claim. That was a vertical level. That's one of the windy, one of those levels. I don't think this one was the windy one, but
yeah, this one had all the barrels that you shot out of and stuff.
Yeah. Level 3 was Lava Lagoon, which introduces Clapper the Seal, which is new to this game, which is technically a buddy, although you don't ride them. It's just a seal that blows. I guess it turns lava into water. Whatever. That allows you to swim in it. Sure. And then maybe this is a good time to talk about Clubba's Kiosk, which we mentioned briefly. So he shows up after this level for the first time in Donkey Kong Country 2, and so the first world didn't have a Lost World gateway, I guess, but it starts in this. You pay 15 Creme coins and it gives you like a special level in this Lost World, which is it'd be like the equivalent of like Star Road in Mario World, something like that. Let's just leave it at that for now. When we get to Lost World, we'll talk about where you guys did all that stuff. So that showed up there. Level 4, we got Red Hot Ride, which is another level with Rambi. Level 5, Duke's favorite, we got Squawks Shaft. It's a vertical level that introduces Squawks.
Yeah.
First seen in Donkey Kong Country. However, this is the first time you actually control Squawks. So in Donkey Kong Country, it was just like, I think he held a light. It was like the glimmer type level. But this time you actually play as Squawks. Or Squawk. And then you got the boss of this level. Oh, yeah, I talked about the boss. The boss of World 2 is Cleaver's Kiln, which is an interesting boss. It's like a anthropomorphic sword, I guess.
I always liked that boss. I thought it was pretty cool.
It is. I think it's like, for early on, it's a difficult boss.
It is.
Because there's like...
Especially that second form, when he's chasing after you.
Chasing you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I struggled with that one for sure. That's one of my least favorite boss fights, I think.
That was one also where picking up the cannon, whenever I was Dixie, I would like screw up because she holds it in her hair, whereas like Diddy's got it right in front of him. You can like jump into the sword,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Duke, did you use a guide at all when you were going back through? Were you looking stuff up online? No.
Now, what I would have done is I would have done my second phase, my relaxed phase, where I'm now taking my time and exploring and trying to get the game completed more. And then if there was a percentage I could not figure out, then I would go as a third phase to a guide and then find the things that were like really hard or impossible to find on your own. So that's how I typically would play a game like this. First, a breeze through to win. Second, take my time, enjoy the levels more, and kind of lose myself in the game and explore. And then if I want 100% it, I would go back. I'll go to a guide and finally do all the stuff that the guide's kind of designed for.
Yeah.
So
cool. And Cap, you used your strategy guide? Yeah.
I did. Yeah. So, I mean, even though I've played this a ton, there's still things I forget. So basically what I did was like, I would play through a level and try to remember as much as I could. And then if there's something I missed, then I would consult the guide, go get it, and then continue my way through the game.
Yeah. Cool. And that concludes World 2. Before we jump into World 3, I got another little gift for you guys. So here we go.
As Dixie uses her powerful...
Spoiler, I gotta set these back to...
It's Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. Diddy and his new friend Dixie Kong attempt to rescue the kidnapped Donkey Kong from the evil King K. Rool. Amazing new levels challenge the duo as Dixie uses her powerful ponytail in incredible ways. Advanced ACM technology delivers the stellar graphics of this 32-meg game as you play 1 or 2 players simultaneously.
Now, I don't know if that was used as like at like a E3 thing or something, but they get into like some technical stuff that I'm like, why would you, like, kids don't care about that. Like, this has got to be for retailers or something, because
advanced like
ACM technology, like what?
Right.
Like, I wouldn't care about that.
Right.
I also noticed they called him King K. Rool, which he is not King K. Rool.
Captain.
Captain, yeah.
Oh, this is funny too. I noticed this going through the instruction manual. Is so when they're going through all the bad guys, you know, so you get to Captain K. Rool there, and he's blacked out, right? But if you got the box or if you'll notice, he's right there. So he's like, you can see what he looks like. But whatever, I get it. They used to do that. Okay, World 3. This is our swamp themed levels, and we got a special guest on Captain Algebra's feed.
Oh yeah. Say hi, Pie.
She don't care about Donkey Kong.
Nope, she doesn't. She's mad I'm in her spot.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So World 3, we're at Creme Quay, and that's like I said, swamp themed levels. Might have been my like least favorite world overall. I always like anything swamp. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
this is probably where the game really starts to pick up in difficulty, I'd say.
Yeah,
absolutely. Level 1, you got Barrel Bayou, and that's Rambi is included in this. Level 2, Glimmer's Galleon, which introduces Glimmer, which is new to this game and who only appears in Donkey Kong Country 2. Has never shown up in anything else. So that's the swimming one we were talking about with the fish that's got the light.
And just that one level, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just one time.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Level 3, we got the Crockhead Clamber, which is Squitter is included. Level 4, the Rattle Battle. And this is you actually play as Rattly for the most level. I noticed that like I would really have to do a count, but there is so many levels that include the animal buddies in this game. It feels like much more than the original Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
There's so, and I put it down because I just found it interesting. There's so few that don't have an animal buddy in that. But one of the ones is Slime Climb. Now this is, I believe this is the level where the the water's rising. It's like a vertical level.
Yeah.
Yep. Piranhas down at the bottom. Those levels always give me anxiety. You know, anything where like the screen's moving or something's rising. And then you add in a enemy that's gonna like eat you the second you fall in the water.
Right. Yeah, because you can't take your time on those levels. You know, you have to rush.
Yeah.
Ironically, I don't know if you remember, Curtis, but I was actually on the Donkey Kong Country 1 podcast with my son Bobby.
You bring this up now?
Yeah, so me and Bobby, my son, my oldest son, were on, this is probably, gosh, I'm guessing here, but 5 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago. But him and I were on Donkey Kong Country 1 podcast. But we were talking about, I remember talking about specifically the water levels in that game were designed to kind of like give you a break because they were nice and kind of easy.
Mhm.
And that's not the case. You just mentioned anxiety with these levels. Yeah. And it's interesting how they're not the same. They're much more part of the game where those water levels are so enjoyable, and that music in the water levels in that first game was great, and I really enjoyed those levels because they were just kind of fun and relaxing. And I think we read somewhere, heard somewhere that that was purposeful. They were supposed to be like a break in between levels, but like as you mentioned in this one, so I do find it interesting that it gave you anxiety in this one as a contrast.
So funny. I had no idea you were on the original. When I asked you, I mean, like, how serendipitous is that? Like,
I know it's
you know, you got to be on the third one.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
got to be on that one. All right, level 6 in Creme Quay, we got Bramble Blast. This is another Squawks level. Hooray!
And probably the best song in the entire game, the Sticker Bush Symphony.
Is that what level that comes from?
Yep, those Bramble levels.
Okay, it's that one. I wasn't sure. I'm not like because we're gonna jump ahead a little bit. We did a Cartridge Club poll on how you pronounce this. I didn't even know this was a thing. So some people say Sticker Bush or Sticker Brush.
Yeah, it came up in my stream. Dean was in my stream of this, and I think I said Sticker Bush, and he thought it was Sticker Brush, and
and it's Sticker Brush, right?
I think it's Sticker Bush.
I wrote Sticker. I actually made a note in my notes because that was one of my favorite. That's my favorite music, or one of my favorite. And I wrote Sticker Brush Symphony because I must have looked it up.
Yeah, but it's Sticker Bush.
Is it really?
Yep.
I'm getting to the bottom of this right now.
I just looked it up. David Wise,
need to know.
Sticker Bush.
It's Sticker Bush.
All right. Why did I write Sticker Brush?
Look at how close that is with the poll. That's crazy.
It's funny.
Now only 9 people voted on it, but interesting.
Yeah, good music though, for sure.
We can kind of segue into the music. We haven't really talked about that. The Donkey Kong Country games are so, especially that first one. You know, it's considered one of the best soundtracks of the Super Nintendo. What did you guys think about the music for this one?
I'll say there's no bad music in this game. It is all top notch. Fantastic. I made a couple notes. I really liked Lockjaw's Saga, the drum percussion-y kind of very epic. I think that was used for some of the water levels, if not all of them. Sticker Bush Symphony, as I've just learned. And my favorite is Crook's March, which is the kind of music the last couple of levels when you're like the one where you have Rattler and you're jumping up and the green water's rising. It's in a couple other levels as well, but I really like that music a lot. That's probably my favorite. So, but not a bad. There's no bad music in this game. No. It is all just top notch.
Yep, completely agree. It's fantastic. Now I've already said this is my favorite Super Nintendo game. I love the first game, and that I actually do give the edge in music to the first game. I don't know why, I just do. But then every time I play this, when I was streaming and stuff, I was like, every single level, I was like, ooh, I like this song. Ooh, I like this song. This is awesome. There's not a bad. I think my favorite is Sticker Bush, but I do really like I don't know the name of it, the one in like Hothead Hop and stuff and Crocodile Cauldron, all the lava themed levels. I really like that music.
Yeah. I think this soundtrack, I would probably give the edge to the first one, but it's like, or I guess, let me see, there we go. Right below,
Yeah,
it's
I would agree.
I love, you know what I love? I love Funky's music, like yeah, I like that one.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, phenomenal music. And I've been playing that soundtrack. For those of you who don't know, I work at a video game store. I've been rocking the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack all month while I've been playing this. So yeah, and then the boss of Creme Quay is Cudgel's Contest, which is a large boss who jumps up and shakes the ground, which paralyzes you. So you have to kind of jump before he hits the ground, and so you can attack him. Kind of an easy boss, I thought.
I was going to say, compared to the sword in the lava, this guy was a breeze. You know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I always thought he was kind of like the easiest boss in the game.
Yeah. Okay, moving into World 4, Crazy Kremland. Now, this was a fun one. These are a lot of theme park themed levels and beehive themed levels. Starting with level 1, Hornet Hole, where you get to Squitter is included in that one. Level 2 was Target Terror. This is the first minecart level. And there's a few minecart levels in this. So in the first game, the minecart level was like what everybody talked about. I don't know why. I guess because it's different. Change of pace. You've never really seen that in like a platformer before. It was really cool. So obviously they were trying to capitalize on that because they put a few minecart levels in this game, and they each have different mechanics, I guess.
Right. Yep.
Holes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep. Sometimes you're actually, when you jump with the minecart. Other levels you jump above the mine, like the minecart's below you and you jump over it.
Right.
But really fun. I loved all the minecart stuff.
I did too.
Yeah, they're all fun.
Yep.
And then the minecart,
some of my favorite levels.
Like it's a skull or something. Like, what are you riding?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a skull skull or something. Yeah.
Level 3, you got Bramble Scramble, which, get this, Squawks and Squitter are included. So you get Duke's least favorite and favorite. Oh my goodness, one level. Level 4, Rickety Race. I really dug Rickety Race. This is a super fun level. It goes by quick because you're going super fast. You're racing on the minecart thing.
I like that one a lot too. Yeah. You had to jump in front of the other characters to try to beat them. Yeah. Really
and the only way you actually got the DK coin in that one is actually to take first place. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was frustrating, but very satisfying in that race when you got the timing right, because you're going a little faster than the cart in front of you, and there was a bunch of hills, and you had to really time your jump to land on top of them to eliminate him. But if you didn't get it right, it was frustrating, but it was really satisfying when it all worked out. It's a really fun level.
Yeah. Level 5, you got Mudhole Marsh. Level 6, another swamp one. Level 6, Ramby Rumble, which you play as Ramby in this one. I believe that's the one in the beehive where you race the giant bee or whatever thing's in.
Yeah.
Which that music starts playing and
right. You see this giant bee coming after you.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Which I never found hard outrunning it. It's super easy. And then speaking of this bee, we got the boss, which is King Zing Sting, which, Duke, you mentioned this was your favorite boss fight.
Not my favorite. One of my favorites.
Oh, one of your favorites. Okay.
My second favorite, I'll say.
Gotcha. This one
really enjoyed it.
This one has multiple levels to it. You start out your Squawks. Is it Squawk or Squawks? I forget. I keep saying.
I say Squawks, but I could be wrong.
Let me see.
I can't remember. It's Squawks with an S.
Squawks. Yeah. Okay. So you play as Squawks.
Take that sticker brush. Got one right.
But you shoot. I don't even know what is it that he shoots.
I think they're nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're hitting the stinger, and then he gets faster and faster, and then eventually he turns into one bee that is surrounded by other bees, and you have to kill all the worker bees or whatever. It's a good. Keeps you on your toes, that's for sure.
Yeah. See, this is one of my least favorite boss fights, just because the target is so small. You have to hit him in the stinger. Yep.
Oh, I know, crazy.
And it's super annoying because as you're hit, in the first form when he's going back and forth, he starts to fly faster every time you hit him, and that last hit can be tough to time.
Yeah.
But with the great play controls of Squawks, I mean, to me, it was a breeze.
Okay, moving on. World 5. We got Gloomy Gulch, which is another swamp level, but this time it introduces ghosts. And that is evidenced by level 1 Ghostly Grove, which and then level 2 Haunted Hall, which is another minecart level. Now this is another anxiety inducing level. This is the one where you got to keep adding time, like the ghost is like the ghost is chasing you. You got to keep adding time, or not hitting the barrels at minus time.
Right. And what's really cool about this level is there's actually for the first two bonus areas, you actually have to jump on top of another bonus area to get into it. And then when you beat it, you actually roll backwards so that you roll forward into the next one. Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool.
And where did I learn that? Exactly.
I actually just did that this afternoon. I was messing with that level because I really enjoyed those cart levels, and I was able to jump on top of that top rack and get to that bonus area. Yeah. It's really, like you said, anxiety inducing, but really fun as well. But it's hard not to hit those red barrels with the minus sign sometimes. You really got to time your jumps. So it's fun. Good stuff.
Yeah. And another level that's anxiety inducing but not fun is level 3 Gusty Glade, where you are jumping and the wind is like carrying you or like pushing.
I like that level. I enjoyed
one of my least favorites.
Yeah, really? I hated that level.
Yeah. I don't like feeling not in complete control of my character.
Anytime there's wind, I hate wind. Screw that. And there's another level coming up that we'll talk about. That's the friggin' worst. Level 4, Parrot Shoot Panic. So this is not Squawks, although he is included in this level, but this is Quawks, which is a purple bird that you basically ride down. It's like a vertical level that you're riding down, which is fun. I would like to note, so as I was playing through this game, right, I was going through, and I would, a lot of times, I try and collect as much as I can before. I don't do Duke where I just blaze through everything. I take my time and I'll collect as much as I can. I'll like finish the whole first world before I move on to world 2. Yeah. So I got all the way to this Parachute Panic game. And I was like, you know what? Time to call it a night and save my game. I saved my game. The next day I came back to start it up again, and I found out my battery had died. In
the game? Oh,
ouch.
So I had to go get I work at a game store, so I just brought it in and we replaced the battery. But I had to start the game over from scratch at that point.
Oh my gosh.
And it's such a great game. That's not that bad of a thing.
Ah, dude. Well, no, tell me about it. But I was like, oh, the podcast is coming up. I gotta beat this game.
So is that your cart from childhood? Is that your original cart that you have?
No, it's not. I never actually owned it because I didn't want anything to do with it because it didn't have Donkey Kong.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I only had the first one.
Right.
But yeah, I think I was at like 48 or 50% and had to start it all over again.
I've never had that happen to any of my games.
Yeah,
looks like I haven't either.
Well, lucky you.
even
knock on wood.
Even my Zelda and stuff, my old NES games, I've never had that happen.
So funny thing is I had my previous playthrough saved on there, which I had 102%. And that was still there. But my one that I had been using was gone. Now, I don't know if that meant the battery was like dying or starting to go out or what, but I couldn't get it back. So I was like, whatever, I would rather just replace the battery and have the peace of mind that this isn't going to happen again.
Right.
Back to Gloomy Gulch, level 5, we got Web Woods. Squitter is included. And then the boss of this world is Creepy Crow, which is a ghost version of the crow from the first game. Which I thought was kind of like lame. It's like the same thing.
At least they did a better job in this game not repeating this is the only boss that repeats, whereas in the first game you got Necky the vulture and then also Noddy the beaver. I don't know what it is, but those both show up twice, and it's like that's annoying.
It's the same boss, but the fighting is completely different. It's not even close.
Right.
The first one you're throwing
this is a more like vertical level. And I wanted to ask you guys, what was your overall thoughts on the bosses in this game? Were they too easy, too hard? Did you like them? What did you think, Captain Algebra?
I think it was a good variety of them. I like how Duke pointed out, even though Creepy Crow is, the same boss as the first now as a ghost, at least it's different how you
Yeah.
fight them and stuff, and more of the climbing element. I didn't really find any of them too difficult. I just thought they were a good balance.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I thought they were very well balanced, because there's nothing like when you're playing a game and the boss is frustratingly harder than the rest of the game, and that never happens in this. It's very well balanced with what the levels are, and I never really spent too much time trying to figure out a boss pattern. It was just that perfect balance of difficult but not too difficult, and very satisfying once you overcame it and learned the patterns. So yeah, I think they were great.
Yeah. I'm never a fan of bosses that are like bigger versions of regular enemies. If I would have changed anything, I would have taken out the crows, because that's just like a big version of the smaller one, done something else. I did like the third level with the jumping up and down. Even though it was easy, it felt like, oh, this is like an original character. But yeah, I always have problems when I'm like, man, that's like about, like in the original Donkey Kong Country, it's like a giant beaver. Woo, come on.
So then,
Well,
would
if
you
we're talking
get?
bosses? Go ahead, Algebra.
Okay, would you take out King Zing's Sting also then, because he's just a large zinger?
You talking to me?
Oh no, is that Curtis? Because he said he didn't like regular enemies blown up to be bosses.
Yeah. Well, make him like purple and like have a crown or something, and give him something. Like, come on, don't just like make like it bigger. Like, make him something different. I liked the battle. That was a fun boss fight, but like, yeah, like do something to make it special. Duke.
Well, if we're talking bosses, I was going to say, if we're free to talk about all the bosses, my favorite is the final boss. Captain K.
We'll get to that in a sec.
Okay.
Let's table that. Yeah. But we're almost there anyway. But before we move into King K. Rool's Keep, or Captain Rool's Keep, which is World 6, I got another little treat for you, gentlemen. Let's see. This is number 6.
Super Donkey Kong 2スーパードンキーコングの第2弾いよいよ登場。期待をはるかに上回る多彩なステージ、新しいヒロインディクシーが加わってますます広がるドンキーコングワールド。スーパーファミコンが4000円安くなるクーポン券付きスーパードンキーコング2新発売。
I like that one.
Yeah, so much energy in those things. So yeah, World 6, Captain K. Rool's Keep. So we have finally made it to his big castle. You're kind of like I love the world because you're like kind of going up the whole time. So as you're unlocking levels, you're seeing more of the world. It's not like the other ones where you kind of see everything.
Right.
And these are a lot of castle themed levels, except for this first one, Arctic Abyss, which is the first ice themed level in the game. It's surprisingly restrained on the ice levels in this game overall. But this one has En Garde included.
I love that level. I love it.
It's a fun one.
I love ice theme levels. I love the music in it, and there's not enough ice, in my opinion, in this game. There should be more ice levels.
Yeah, I think there's only like a couple ice levels.
And I'm okay. Yeah. See, I don't like ice levels. I hate not being in full control of my character. The slippery. So at least this one, you're in the water a lot. I like that. That's okay.
I want everything to be like the very first level where there's just you just jump and try and get from left to right. Level 2, we got Windy Well. Squawks is included. Level 3, we got Castle Crush. I believe this is the first. Yeah, this is the first castle level. Ramby and Squawks are included.
And that's a really long level too.
The castle
just
one
takes a long time.
The castle levels are hard too. Those ones are tough. Not so much Castle Crush, but coming up, there's a couple really tough ones. Level 4, Clapper's Cavern. This is another one where you jump on the seal, but this time instead of turning lava into water, he can like freeze the water, so you can slide across so the piranha thing doesn't get you. En Garde is also included in that one. And then level 5, we got Chain Link Chamber. So this is another really long castle level going up. Lots of kind of twitchy moving avoiding enemies. But that pales in comparison to the difficulty of the next level, which is level 6, Toxic Tower. This level will put hair on your nuts.
Yes, it will.
This level is tough. So this one has Ratley. You play as Ratley the snake, and it's a vertical level where, again, the water, it's like green, acid, water, toxic, whatever, rising, and you got to be quick. There is little room for error in this level, and you really got to master Ratley's jump on other enemies to bounce off the thing.
Yep.
Yes.
As well as his little charge jump, which is the one downfall of Radley. Even though he's my favorite, like sometimes I mistime it, and then you got to start charging it up all over again. And in a level like this, it's super anxiety inducing.
Yes,
absolutely. I struggled with this one as well, especially, unlike the other vertical levels, you don't have, like, you can't fall on a platform because it's a one mistake and you got to start over. You're done. So there's no chance. And even if you have both characters, like with your other buddies, it's like an extra life almost. But this one, when you fall into the acid, you're done.
Yeah.
So it makes it very difficult. So, and time jumping, bouncing off the enemies with the snake. Like I guess everybody does the same thing. I'm always holding, what is it? Y, like all the time. So I'm using the lower part of my thumb on B. So you don't always get a good precise hit when you do it that way. You really got to pay attention to that. So when you're timing your jump, when you're jumping on the enemies that are floating, you really got to pay attention to that because you can screw up.
Well, see what I do is I just hold the jump button the whole time because then you get the bigger bounce off the enemies.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to keep hitting it.
You don't have to keep hitting it. No, just jump on the jump. Press it to jump. And just keep it held down as you're bouncing across the enemies.
I didn't know you could do. I kept on hitting it every time. I was timing it. Like
that makes it a lot more difficult.
So I'd like an extra challenge.
You're going to be so prepared for Donkey Kong Country 3.
I'm learning how to play the game during the podcast.
I know. But when you get to Donkey Kong Country 3, you can use all this stuff.
Exactly.
That's true.
So that level is tough. And after you beat that, you would think. And we're finally at the end. You get to the boss, the Stronghold Showdown. And then, it's a total fake out. You see Donkey Kong, but nope. He gets whisked away. And you find out there's yet another world, the Flying Croc.
I do really want to point something out real quick, Curtis. In the GBA version, there's actually an extra boss at Stronghold Showdown. So instead of it being a fake out, there's this big Kremlin. It's called Kerosene, who like breathes fire and stuff. He takes up the whole screen. It's actually a pretty cool boss fight. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Well, there you go. More reason to play the GBA one. So this World 7 is actually, there's not much to it. And if you thought Toxic Tower was tough, oh, mama, wait till you play Screech's Sprint. This, and it's, guess what, Duke? Squawks included. This has got to be the hardest level in the game.
Which one is this?
That's my personal opinion. This is where you race the other bird in like the brand.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, I thought it was super difficult. Now there's still one more level we haven't talked about that I think is definitely the hardest.
Fair enough. This one to me was the one that man.
See, I didn't struggle with this one as nearly as much as I did.
Really?
No, I think I did it in my second or third try.
Well, he loves squawks. He knows how to control them.
So I'm an expert with squawks, so that's why. But I didn't struggle with that one too much.
Wow, I am surprised. And you know what sucks about this is if you don't save your game before the Stronghold Showdown, you're stuck in Screech's Sprint. You can't save your game, so you either got to beat this level, or get a game over. Because after you beat the level, then it opens up. Kong College and stuff.
I was hoping it was going to do that after that first because it took me a couple times as I said, but I was like, man, I hope I get to save after I beat this first section here.
Right.
And my question is why do this one level in between the boss, between the final boss showdown, and it's just I hate it. Knowing that it's coming up, I'm always like, ugh. But there are a couple barrels you can get to speed you up.
Right. Yeah. There's some shortcuts.
Yeah, there's some shortcuts, but yeah. So after you finally beat that, you move on to the boss battle with Captain K. Rool and Duke. take it away.
Well, I just was saying this is my favorite boss fight. I think it was again well balanced. It was difficult, but not like throw your controller difficult, and it was fun. All his different forms. I think I probably I had to play him 6 or 7 times before I was able to beat him. But really fun, and I liked it. Wasn't too long, but it was just long enough. So sometimes it can be frustrating when the final boss takes on like 3 or 4 forms, and it's like, oh come on, I thought I beat him, and now he's like so only got a couple bars of life left, kind of thing. But I never got that sense with this one. I knew he was going to have several iterations of how you fought him.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very satisfying. It was fun how he was sliding back and forth, and I always enjoy figuring out patterns like that. And this one was just hard enough, but not too hard. So yeah, that's probably my favorite boss.
Yeah. Cap.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's my favorite, and I like Duke said, I like all the different iterations. Like you got the spike cannonballs, you got the little those clouds, those like colorful clouds that he shoots out that change. I can't remember what each one does. I know the purple one changes your controls, and either
it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Yeah, inverts them, and then is it blue freezes you in place?
Yeah,
and then I can't remember what red does.
And then I think maybe green like slows you down. Like makes you move in like slow motion.
I think so.
That's it. So so it's super cool, all the different things, and it took a really big step up from the K Rool fight in the first game, which was pretty basic, not a lot to it, and now they up the ante a lot. So I think it's a great fight.
Yeah. And one of the things I liked about it as well, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the few boss fights, at least for me, where changing the characters in the middle of the fight was part of how you beat him. At least for me, that's what I did. I really liked that. Because in the middle of the boss fight, you're like, okay, now it's going to be time to use Dixie because I can float over top of those 3 clouds kind of thing.
Yep.
And now it's time to use Diddy because I need to jump faster or whatever. So switching, it made it real kind of exciting and kind of intense that you're switching back and forth as you're figuring out these patterns. So I really enjoyed that boss fight.
So you beat Captain K Rool. You think the game is over, but no, you're wrong. Because we still got the Lost World. If you want the true ending of the game. So this whole game, you've been collecting all these Krem coins. You're paying Clubba, and you're unlocking these levels. We'll go through these levels really quick. They're just harder levels overall. It's probably some of the harder levels in the game. Level 1, you got Jungle Jinx. Level 2, you got Black Ice Battle. Level 3, you got Clobber Carnage. Level 4, Fiery Furnace, and level 5, which is I'm sure the one we're about to talk about, is Animal Antics. Captain Algebra, I can see you foaming at the mouth waiting to talk.
Yeah, this has always been the hardest level, but only because of one section. That's it. Like honestly, the level as a whole is not bad. There's one section.
Can I guess?
Yes, go ahead.
Squawks.
Yes. Now, Duke, I know you like Squawks, but I mean, I don't remember. Did you 102% this game? Did you finish it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I didn't have enough time. I thought I would have more time to do all that for the podcast. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't. So no,
I didn't. Curious if you would still like Squawks after this part.
Have you played this level, Duke?
Here's the thing. I couldn't figure out how to get. I opened up the alligators where you see the volcano in the background. But I couldn't figure out how to get to it. Like I would beat the level in front of it, but then I couldn't proceed. So what am I missing here? I couldn't.
Yeah, so starting in Crocodile Cauldron, that's the first time you can go into Lost World, but you only can play one level. And then when you go to Creme Quay, now you get another Lost World level. If you pay.
I kept going back to the same one and figure how do I get further, closer to the volcano? I couldn't figure it out. So I didn't play any of these levels.
Because you actually need all, I think, was it 75 Creme coins? You need every single one of them to be able to make it into the last animal for the one for Animal Antics. But yeah, so in this case, you're Squawks, but there's a wind, and you're in a bramble patch. So you got a bramble patch. You can't touch those. There's tons of zingers. The wind keeps shifting left to right. And as great as Squawks is, it is the most annoying part of any level in this game.
It's
the worst.
Hard. Yeah, it's rough. So you play all these Lost World levels. You finally get through them, and you get to Crocodile Core, where you get your rematch with Captain K Rool, which surprisingly is pretty short.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's. I think you only hit him like 3 more times, right?
You only hit him once.
Only once?
Yep, it's just once. He is a longer he has a bunch of different shots that he shoots at you, and then there's just one cannonball you got to throw at him.
There you go. And then you beat him. You watch from afar with because you rescue Donkey Kong. You watch from afar, very Mega Man-esque, as the island sinks into the sea, and you see a little pirate ship floating away, and Captain K. Rool laughs sinisterly, and you know that there's more to come in the Donkey Kong Country franchise. But that is it for Donkey Kong Country 2. So hopefully you played the game, because we just spoiled a whole bunch. We talked about the music. Great stuff. If you're looking to play this game, there were several ports that came out. It got ported to the Wii Virtual Console, got ported to the Wii U Virtual Console, it got ported to the new Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console, and then, of course, it's currently on the Nintendo Switch online service if you can't find an original cart for yourself. And then, of course, we talked about the 2 Game Boy ports, Donkey Kong Land 2 and that's the original Game Boy. Mm-hmm. And then the Game Boy Advance version, which is Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. Did you guys, by the way, with the title, did you guys always call it Diddy's Kong Quest? I remember growing up calling it Diddy Kong's Quest.
I think I always called it Conquest.
Did you? I didn't get the wordplay when I was younger, and right. I always called it Diddy Kong's Quest.
But you also just rented it. I had the copy, so I said to look at the title.
This is true. Yeah.
I just called it Donkey Kong 2. So
I'll say, normally I just call it DKC 2. So
yeah. Well, before we get to the 3 questions of doom, I do have one more little surprise for you guys, if you will allow me. This is 8. Okay. So talking about the ports, I give you the GBA trailer.
さらわれたドンキーコングを助け出すため、ディディとディクシーが力を合わせて大冒険。ボリューム満点、仕掛けいっぱいのステージ、愉快な仲間たちもたくさん登場。スーパードンキーコング2。
So obviously you can see in that trailer there's some newer features, like the race with the ostrich, and what was the other thing they showed? Some other...
Oh, there's the gyrocopter.
Oh yeah, the helicopters.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. So more features out there for you. And as the 3 questions of doom are looming, I do want to ask you first. We did a Twitter poll with the Cartridge Club, but where do you stand? Where does this rank? Is this the best game in the series? And I think we're talking about the Super Nintendo ones. Of the 3, where do you rank this? Captain Algebra, we'll start with you because I think you're the most obvious one.
Yeah, number 1, easily. I love the first game, but if you go from the first game to the second game, you can see just how much more they put into it. The more animal buddies, the more levels with animal buddies, the extra detail levels. It's more refined. It seems to move more smoothly and stuff. There's the Swanky, those trivia games. There's more bonus barrels. It's just so much more to it, and I think it's easily the best.
Yeah, Duke.
I can't disagree. I always have a difficult time with questions like this, especially this particular one, because I have an attachment to the first one because I had it. I had it back in the day, and this is second one is a new experience. That being said, I can clearly see it's a more polished game. It's probably a better game technically, so I can't argue that point. But I do have an affinity for the first one. I had the same problem. I was on the Castlevania 3 episode of the Cartridge Club as well, and I think I was asked, what's my favorite Castlevania of the 3 on the NES. And I recognize Castlevania 3 is a better game, but I got to go with the first one. So I guess if I had to pick, I'd say I probably have an attachment to the first one, but I do see that this is a better game. Yeah. But, I do want to add, it's not a perfect game to me. I do have some complaints if we're going to,
By
talk
all
about
means,
that.
let's get into Duke's list of complaints.
Not a list, just some minor ones. I just wanted to point out that where this game shines is the love, the heart, the polish, the production. It is just replete with details, and the music and the graphics are just phenomenal for an NES era game. But I think it suffers because of that, because I do think some of the controls are a little floaty, or not as, it's no Contra when it comes to controls. There are times where I was like, I know I hit that boss, or I know I landed on that ledge. So because of the rendered graphics, that, especially initially, now you get used to it and you get familiar with the game, you get used to playing it and you get better. But I do think, I can't say this game has great controls. I just don't think it does. I think it's a little, it lacks a little in that department, but I think it's because of the graphic style. It is unique and it is different. It's not what you're used to playing with a 16-bit era, platformer where you got pixels and stuff like that and sprites that you're dealing with. So that's really my only complaint is that the controls. And also, here's one thing too, that I don't know if it frustrated you guys, but oftentimes because you had your trailing second character and it was a lag, and sometimes you would jump on an enemy, he would bounce up, your character jumps behind you, jumps up, and now your brain is like, okay, who's jumping? And then I would fall off a platform and I'll be like, wait a minute, I was looking at that. So there oftentimes, because of all that jumping chaos, I got frustrated because I'm like, that's not fair. I couldn't even tell who my character was because of all the bouncing around and stuff. So just little things like that, I think, were minor flaws, I would say, in the controls. Because I felt there were cheap deaths from time to time, and times where I'm like, I know it seemed like I hit that character, or I landed on that ledge, or why didn't I jump out of the cannon? Why did it not go as far as last time? I guess you got to be pushing over. I don't know, just little things like that I found to be frustrating throughout my experience. But aside from that, it is a fantastic game.
Do you think the controls are any different than the first game?
No, I had similar issues with the first game. Yeah. I'm not saying it's worse than the first one. No, I think it's just the style of these two games, or these three games, I guess. I haven't played the third one, like I said, but I think I had similar complaints about the first one, where compared to other platformers of the era, I don't think you can put it up there with a game that you would consider having great controls. That's just me. Curtis?
I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I always kept track of my character.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, never experienced that. Like when you jump on an enemy and then Dixie jumps too, and then the enemy bounces up, and I get all these things bouncing around. And next thing you know, you fall off a platform because I'm looking at the wrong.
I honestly never had that.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think the controls are pretty tight. I don't.
Oh, another thing too is, like, I didn't like how there were many times where I went to hit the Y button, because I always kind of keep that pressed to keep myself in faster speed. And then Diddy would do a cartwheel and fly off a ledge. I'm like, geez, I was just trying to like hold the Y button in so I could run fast. And same thing with Dixie. You would hit the Y button to run fast, and she would spin forward a little bit and hit an enemy. I'm like, geez, I was just trying to. So that was same thing. The controls were just, I think there were some flaws in how the controls were laid out, in my opinion.
I think that could just be, though, like you said, you hadn't played this game before. It's brand new to you. Whereas, me growing up with the game, I've never noticed that. I just know that if I need to reset and press the Y again, because like you, whenever I play platformers, I'm always holding the run button down.
Same.
That's just how you got to play them. But I know that sometimes I have to release it for whatever reason, and I just know with this game that, hey, they're gonna do the cartwheel, they're gonna do the twirl. I need to just be ready for that. I need to be ready to go backwards a little bit before I can keep going forward.
Extra steps, like when you're on a small platform, and you want to, like, I think I remember this when I was fighting the second version of the Crow, the Ghost, there was little platforms, and I want, you would just cartwheel off the platform because, when you hit the Y button, you automatically move forward. So I just thought that was a little bit of a frustrating element. That's all. Not a big complaint. Just trying to find something to complain about. This is what I found.
Sorry, it's the perfect game. Nothing to complain.
Floor is yours. Well, before I forget, let me show you what the Cartridge Club thought. So just edging out the first Donkey Kong.
Wow, look at 3.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country 3, not getting a lot of love, which is funny because I would rank the games 2, 3, 1 if I had to rank the Super Nintendo ones.
2, 1, 3 for me. And 3's not a bad game.
No.
It just, something seems off about it. I can't put my finger on it. I've tried to explain it to people before, but I don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem to be the same as the first 2 games. I don't know.
I love the design of 3. I love the King K. Rool or whatever. What is he like?
I can't ever remember his name in that one.
It's like, is it Professor K.
K. Or is he a Baron?
Oh, it might be Baron. Baron von Rule or something.
Yeah, there you go.
That might be it. Yeah. Yeah. Really, really good. But and then they take the collecting to another level in that one as well. Really fun. But we didn't come here to talk about Donkey Kong Country 3. We came here to talk about Donkey Kong Country 2. And as we wrap up, there is one thing we have left to do, gentlemen, and that is the 3 questions of doom. So I'm going to ask you question number 1, and I think these are going to be pretty easy 3 questions of doom today. Question number 1, we'll go to Duke first. Should you play this game?
Absolutely.
Algebra?
Yeah, it's one of the best platformers from the 16-bit era.
That's the number 1's always the easiest question. Number 1's always the easiest. Let's start off with a softball. All right. Question number 2, Duke. Should this game belong in your collection?
Yes. Fantastic game.
Yep, I agree. I mean, it's nice that there are so many virtual consoles you can play it on as well, but I personally think you don't get as good of an experience on those as you do with the original cart on original hardware. But yeah, you got to have it.
Yeah, I agree. But here's the big one. Duke, out of 5, 5 being perfect, no halvesies, how would you rate this game?
I give it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
5. Easily. Yep, that's a 5.
I would also give it a 5. I think as far as games on the Super Nintendo, it's among the best. There are some minor quibbles, but for me, the biggest thing is the darkness. Yeah. But that's what they wanted. That's what they were going for. It's the middle chapter. It's like the Empire Strikes Back of the Donkey Kong Country series.
A little darker.
Yeah, it's gotta go darker. So
I just want to add, if I was allowed halves, it'd be a 4.5. just like
there is no halves.
But I'm not allowed.
You're not allowed. You get out of here with your halves.
If I was.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of Donkey Kong Country 2. Thank you, gentlemen, once again for joining me to discuss this game.
Yeah, it was great to be on again.
Yeah, we do have a couple fun games coming up in the Cartridge Club in the coming months. Next month, we have, this is August of 2022. You're probably watching this. It could be like the year 7000 right now. And you're like, what was next? Well, in August of 2022, we're going to be playing Hades, which is available on a bunch of games. I personally haven't played that game, but everyone I know that has played it loves it. It's been recommended to me many a time. Are you guys familiar with that game?
I've dabbled, but I've never actually completed a run, so I'm really looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, cool.
Never heard of it. Is it a retro game or newer?
No, it's a newer game.
Newer.
And then in September, it's our Patreon poll game, and so it's going to be between Ratchet and Clank. I don't know if it's the first game in these series or what, but I'm assuming the first game. Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, or Jak and Daxter.
All good games.
So those PS2 era platformer type games. We'll see what wins out in that, and that is it. So unless you guys have anything else to add, time to
Well,
mosey on down the road.
I'm going to say that there's a couple days left in the month, and I'm going to continue to play and post some of my progress on the Discord because I'm still having fun with it, and I'm not ready to just stop playing it. So
I want to see 102%, dude.
Yep.
I don't know about
And I
that,
want to
but-
hear if you still love Squawks after Animal Antics.
Yes,
I will let you
really
know.
do. So check out. Yeah, I should mention that. Check out the Discord for Cartridge Club, where we all look forward to Duke's review of Animal Antics after he plays it. And yeah, you can always reach out to us all over the internet, but the Cartridge Club Discord is probably the biggest thing. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below, like it. That always helps. Subscribe if you're really into us. And thank you for joining along this month as we played Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. Not Diddy Kong's Quest. Yes, I said that right. Okay. Thank you and good night. CC Unite.
Take care.
See ya.